All right, I thought I would outline a existential philosophical guide kit, and I've come to realize I've sort of made through my videos, three or four of them. I think I made two already, and covering three topics. One of them covers religion and or metaphysics and psychology. One of them covers politics, and this one will cover philosophy essentially. They're axioms or first principles. They're not the actual map itself for these things. They're basically tools for mapping. Um, so you have to do the drudge work or the dead work or the actual exploration yourself. But these will provide a compass and a piece of paper and a pencil for you, basically, and so on. So here goes the philosophical stuff. Basically, if you consider body as position and beauty, Christian beauty, truth, goodness, and so on, position, direction, velocity in physics, and body, mind, and body, spirit, and mind. Then basically, the body is beauty and position that you're already in. Spirit is goodness and direction, and mind is truth and velocity. And everything else is tribe and terrain, basically, for this world. And as for God, I'm going to leave it up to you. It's a mystery, but there's about 6 possibilities, and there's like 2 groups of 3 possibilities, and some of them mix and match a little bit between the 2 groups. And I'll leave it up to you how you define that one. But basically, the 6 possibilities of God, or the 2 groupings of 3, is God exists and is good, doesn't exist, exists and is indifferent, or exists and is evil. And then the other 3 possibilities are God is harmony, God is indifferent, and God is fallible or flawed in some way, or limited in some way. There's an obvious pairing in each of those 2 groups between the 3. Basically, the obvious pairing that comes to mind is God is good and harmony, God is non-existent and indifferent, or indifferent, I guess, technically, but they're similar. They're the deist position in some circles. Or God is fallible and evil. Those are the obvious pairings. But I'll leave it up to you which one you follow and so on. Because personally, I land on God as good, but I totally get why you would consider God to be evil or non-caring as well, or doesn't exist. I've experienced those feelings myself, so I'm not judging anyone necessarily on that. Although I would caution against considering God evil in some way, because that, in my experience, leads to a certain psychological mean world syndrome view that causes one to sabotage their relationships with other people. And I do speak from a little bit of experience in my delving into that position myself. So I would avoid that if possible. But if you momentarily feel that way, yeah, that's part of life, and maybe that's part of your necessary journey to experience the highs and lows and get to the good stuff. Because one thing I promise you is that God, like this, this existential crisis guide and toolkit comes from my own 7 years of like pure despair and like suffering and like being on the back foot mentally, like because I got schizophrenia now, and like feeling like I couldn't trust the world to like be understandable and like all sorts of stuff. So if you feel that way yourself at times, I caution against it, but at the same time, I know that's part of life for some people at least, and like probably for everyone on some level. So like, you know, um, not too much judgment. Just don't obsess in that direction is my suggestion. Kind of try and perk up and force yourself to think God is good or at least indifferent, um, or non-existent, preferably good. But um, I'll leave it up to you. This is just a suggestion on the mystery of God. But the other part, the beginning part, was solid as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. I'll be making an introduction soon, and I'll give my sources of thought, inspiration, and a little bit on the Chaos Gods, the Eldar Gods, and the Imperium of Mankind, God Emperor values according to Christianity, and some other stuff.